Hello and welcome back to Christianity Calling. So, as is always the case, I have my notepad here, and in today's video, we are going to do how to use your gifts for God's glory. Now, unusually today, I haven't got 3 points, but I've got two, so it's going to be a slightly shorter video. And I'm going to kind of take you through this in how we can use some of our skills and our gifts to glorify God, to kind of enhance our relationship with Christian life, all of that sort of stuff. So, number one is going to be identify your strengths. So, first, to be able to use our gifts and our skills for God and for God's glory, we have to know what they are. We have to identify what skills we have. And this might be somewhat obvious or easy, but also there might be some skills that are slightly less obvious that you kind of know you have, but you don't always look at them or you don't always use them so much. So really doing a full scope on this and really identifying all the different skills you possess, and then obviously going on to considering how we might use them. But it might be with regards to your strengths that you're quite intelligent, you love reading, all of that sort of stuff. Maybe you've been in a debate club at some point in your life, high school, college, or you might have just had debates at certain times. And that is therefore something you could cultivate, something you could use in Christian life, in evangelism and stuff like that. It might be that you have a particular desire to help people in service and that this works well for you. Obviously, that could be in the realm of charity or missionary work or whatever it might be. But yeah, you might identify that kind of particular desire to help people, and you know that would really be something that would work well. Or it might be that you have a skill, another skill, let's say something within the realm of jobs or vocation. So you might have IT skills, for example. You might have healthcare skills, or you might have skills related to skilled labor and things like that. So identify all these skills that you may have, all of these gifts, let's say, that you've been bestowed by God and that you've cultivated over your journey in life. And maybe write down a few of these different things, maybe your top 3 skills, or maybe your top 5 skills if you want to go a little bit further, and you maybe want to identify a few more of the skills, maybe some of your real strong ones, but then some that are still reasonably strong for you, but that you don't always consider. And then point 2 is once we've got these skills, we want to understand how to use these strengths in a Christian way or for Christian life, the benefit of kind of Christian life and the Christian cause, essentially. So, for example, you could use your IT skills to create a website for either your own ministry or for churches. So, for example, you could go to churches. You could, in a voluntary way, you could say, look, I can see that, you're a local church. You maybe don't have a website yet, or you have a website, but look, I've got IT skills. I can improve this site for you. I can make it optimized, search engine optimization or something like that. In that way, you could go to churches and you could improve their websites. You could set up a website for them, etc. So you're using your IT skills in a Christian way. You could use your strength in helping people in charity work. So that's quite an obvious one, quite an easy one. You could use it in helping the homeless. You could do like the soup kitchen type thing. you could use it in terms of donating to food banks and things like that. Or you could donate your time, volunteer your time in many, many other ways. There's a plethora of ways that if you search online, you could donate your time, you could get involved with various things in that way. Or you could refine your intellectual ability for use in debates and things like that. So sort of like a strain of evangelism, and you could use those skills in that way. Of course, as well, when we look at, I mentioned a minute ago about healthcare skills, it might be, for example, that you are a nurse, and it might be that you desire at certain times to volunteer your skills in that way. So you could literally use those skills in missionary work or something like that. So there's jobs that we do, and there's skills that we have sort of got through the process of wanting to attain a specific job that actually can then turn out to be of benefit for Christian life, and if we want to go down that path of volunteering and stuff like that. So even considering those sorts of things. So I've just kind of said here to wrap up that any of your skills with a little consideration can be used in a godly way. It might be that you have skills that you would have never even thought that would apply to Christian life, that you could use in Christian life in any way. But it might be with a little consideration, with a little bit of searching online, with a little bit of talking to people, perhaps, you realize that that skill fits in a particular area and can definitely be used in a Christian way. And essentially what we're doing there is everything that God has given us over our journey, we're now offering back to God in this way of service, and you're glorifying God in that way. So it is an absolutely beautiful thing, and it's something that we can all get involved with. It's something that we can all kind of consider and then actually put into practice. Obviously, some of us, like for myself, one of my skills, or one of my skills in the past, maybe, I don't know whether I'm quite as good at it now, but I'm quite, I can be quite expressive. I can express myself. I can be personable with people and stuff like that. So that's a skill that can be used. I mean, not only on these YouTube videos, but even in communication with people, being able to bring people together and stuff like that. I can do that. Sometimes it can be challenging for me because I'm not an extrovert or anything like that. But I know that if I apply myself to that and I use it, I can use it to its fullness when I'm really maximizing my efficiency with that. I can do that and I can get involved. And even that thing in itself is a skill that can be used if you place it in the right setting, if you place it in the right way. And anything like that, any attitude that we have, any sort of personality trait, anything can be used if it's placed in the correct area. And we can glorify God in that way, and we can further certain things. So, yeah, with that being said, I will leave this video here. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And if you have any comments, questions, or queries, as always, drop them down below. If you haven't already, then please do feel free to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. So, see you very soon, guys.